I'm Dr. Sam Zaranovich. Today, I want to give you a practice for identifying and releasing stored emotional energy and trauma in the low back and particularly in the hips and pelvis. Before we begin, let me suggest a couple of things. If you don't have a therapist or a close intimate who you can talk about and process feelings with if they come up, have that in place before you start this. Have a buddy who you can go through this work with and just identify what's up. Second, before we start, I'm going to ask you to take a few minutes to journal or write out or even doodle stick figures about why we're doing this work. What do you think you might find here? What might be stored in these places that needs releasing? If you have a story that you know about, oh yeah, that time I got hit by the bus, or this assault or violation that I experienced, make a note of that so you know what to expect, but also let yourself be surprised. So take a few minutes, perhaps 5 minutes, to just journal out what you think you need to be releasing from this place or what you expect you might find. I'll wait for you. To start, find a comfortable laying down position, and we're just going to rest our hands on 3 different positions with a sense of inquiry. I'm going to start just at the top of my hip bones. The crest of the hip joints or the hip bones is right here, and I'm just going to rest my hands flat there, allow my hands to sink in, allow them to melt and take on the shape of the tissue underneath. Sometimes it helps for me to even imagine I have little ears in the palms of my hands and they're listening to what's happening here. We're just collecting information, and some of that information may not make any rational sense. It may not have any particular form to it. We're just collecting sensation. If I really tune in, I notice this side, my left side, has a little more intensity, a little more tension, a little more buzz to it than my right side. That's interesting. That's position 1, the top of the crest of the hips. Position number 2, I'm feeling for the pointy part of the front of my hip bones. Right there. I'm going to rest my hands there with the same intention. I turn them into room temperature butter and let them melt and flow over all the tissue so they take on the shape. I install little ears and listen. What am I noticing here? There's a little bit more buzz even still on this side, a sense of almost tingling, almost anticipation, almost nervousness. Interesting. That's position number 2. Position number 3, just below the hip joint, right at the top of the thigh, right at the top of the femur. I'm going to rest my hands in, melt them down, and just collect information. Again, the information doesn't have to make a lot of rational sense, doesn't have to have words for it. It's just sensations. Don't try to make sense out of them, just collect them. Now that I've been to all 3 places, which one had the most buzz for you? The most, that's interesting, or there's a story here that I know about, or I'm concerned about, or I'm wondering about. For me, it was for sure position number 2, and it's really this point here on the left for me. So I'm going to now position number 2, just pet. You pet wherever you found something interesting. I'm just petting across, I'm petting up and down. I'm not digging in. I'm not trying to work out muscle tension or knots. I'm just offering soothing touch at only the depth that feels soothing. Just a little bit of pleasant sensation. And I'm noticing any other sensations or emotions that come up. And here, there's almost a sense of tenderness, of fear, of frustration. I'm going to bend my knee to sink in a little deeper, press in a little further, and straighten my knee back out. Oh yeah, there's a tender spot, so there's a sensation that's a little tighter, a little sharper, and a little bit emotional, a little bit frightened, a little bit worried. I'm just going to notice that, and then I'm going to come back to petting As soon as you've identified anything that catches your interest, just come back to soothing, petting, not digging, just gentle caressing. This whole exploratory process could take anywhere from 2 minutes to 10 minutes. Take as long as you need to feel around and notice what you find. And then when you're done, you're going to do some journaling about what you noticed. So, now that you've done some of that work, I suggest returning to the journal. Write out what you felt, what you noticed, any emotions that came up, or any sensations that were confusing and not what you expected. Going through and setting our expectations at the beginning doesn't mean that's all we're going to find. So if you found something that surprised you, that's really important information. If this was troubling, if it brought up hard feelings, spending some more time journaling and then talking to your support network is going to be really important. If you need further support, by all means, don't hesitate. Go ahead and reach out. You can email me, and I'm happy to give you any assistance that I am able to, including a referral if necessary. Good luck.